Okay, 12:30, right on the dot. Here we are. I'm just making sure that the tag is working. It should be broadcasting any moment now. There may be a slight lapse in time. Okay. Okay, looks like we are on, and it's 12:30 on the dot, so I'm not going to spend time holding you up like I promised. I'm going to give us a quick intro, and then we'll jump right into the slides. I have like so many of these things going on, like the notes and the slides. So, and I also want to keep an eye on the email in case anybody have trouble getting in, and email me like I asked you guys to. So if you are here, I would love to hear from you, and type in your name and where you're coming from in the chat to let me know that you're here. Say hello. It's awfully weird and lonely to be chatting to the camera. So would love to hear from you. Say hello. And if you have any question, let me know. And let's go. So of course, this is Ling speaking with you here, and welcome to the Personal Branding Masterclass. This is a class designed for coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, and small business owners who want to cut through the clutter and stand out in the marketplace while staying true to their values, convictions, and visions through crafting a powerful personal brand that is bold, confident, and truthful to who you are. If you're here watching, let me know in the chat that if the sound is okay, if the video is okay, if anything goes funky, you can also hit reply to any of the reminder emails that you got from me earlier. And like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the slides and get us started. Like I promised, this masterclass is no fluff, no BS, and I want to give you as much value as possible within the amount of time that we have. Well, notice that I am having a very bad allergies and exercise-induced asthma these past couple of weeks, so I may have to take more frequent breaks just to take a sip of tea from my giant Wonder Woman cup while we talk. So let's go. All right, so now you should be seeing my screen with the slide. Yep, yippee. Okay, so let's go. This is the, like you see here, this is the Personal Branding Masterclass, and it's for coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, and business owners who want to cut through the clutter and stand out in the marketplace while staying true to their values, convictions, and visions. And this is really near and dear to my heart, because so many times we got stuck in the motion of marketing and business, yet sort of losing sight of why we're doing this in the very first place. And this is it's like what I do with clients is to help them get clear on this and build everything off the solid foundation. Okay, so now you may ask, why personal branding? Well, if you've been sinking money into website designs, copywriting, or social media marketing, etc., with little to show for, the easy way out is to hire another designer, copywriter, whatever, who promises you the kingdom and try again. Well, maybe one day you'll stumble upon the jackpot on, who knows, Fiverr. But it's like shooting in the dark, and probably won't take you very far, because most contractors are paid to execute. They are not trained to think critically on your behalf. They take what you give them and turn it into the thing they sell. And there's nothing wrong with them. It's not the fault. You get what you pay for, right? You pay what you ask for, and that's what they're paid to do. So not many contractors would take the time of the day to understand how their part fit into the larger context of your brand. marketing strategies and business goals, especially if they're selling you some flat fee packages that compete on price alone. Which means if your input is not coherent and meaningful, the output is not going to be impactful. So there's some sort of responsibility I think we all have to take on our side, on our end, is that if we go about, you know, hiring contractors on the cheap, we can't expect them to go out of their way to help you figure it all out, right? And that's kind of like the law of physics in a way. The energy you put into a system is always higher than the energy they get spat out, right? Because there's always inefficiency, there's always friction. And in this case of, say, design and copywriting, it is the sort of the essence get lost in translation. So the more succinct, the more well put together the input you put into this process, the better the outcome will be. So what is meaningful input? So there are many aspects you need to consider based on the output you're looking for. So again, I don't want to give you a one-size-fits-all kind of answer, but really urge all of us to be mindful about what we want to get out of certain things. So at the foundational level, for many coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, and small businesses, it is your personal brand. It affects everything you create for your business and marketing. There are 5 layers to building a successful and sustainable personal brand, and we'll dig into that in just a moment. Your design, copy, workshop, whatever, are the last layer in this process. The success of this layer, the creation of marketing materials that are meaningful, impactful, and effective, hinges upon how good the other 4 layers are. If your previous layers are not solid, then this last layer, the expression of your personal brand in the form of copy, design, etc., isn't going to take you where you want to go. Now, you may wonder if you really need a personal brand that sounds really fancy. Well, actually, it is not, whether you're aware of it or not. You are building some version of a personal brand just by communicating with other human beings. Okay, next. Everything you say, do, and write affects how others perceive you and your business. Are you intentionally curating your presence, or are you leaving it up to chance? You don't have to be the next Oprah, Richard Branson, or Gary Vaynerchuk to benefit from a strong personal brand. If you're a coach, consultant, solopreneur, small business owner, or anyone with a personality-driven business, you need to pay attention to personal branding. If you don't want to turn into a commodity and compete on price and price alone, you need to build a strong personal brand. It's the foundation on which you build trust, cultivate relationship, and most importantly, speak to the identity level of your ideal clients or customers. The identity level, it just means that it goes beyond, you know, the features and benefit, but they really identify with the reason, the big why behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because ultimately, a lot of times we buy someone, especially with products and services that are not just you know, basic needs. There's this kind of shared belief and shared value that drive the purchasing decision. And so all of these, trust, relationship, and this resonance will earn you loyal clients who are willing to pay to work with you because you are you. So net, a strong personal brand is good for business. It helps you stand out from a sea of competitors and establish a thought leadership positioning. It boosts credibility and expert status, which in turn earns trust that leads to conversion. It makes your business memorable and keeps it top of mind. It embodies a clear message that attracts loyal clients and customers who are willing to pay a premium fee because you are more than a commodity. It allows you to better communicate your brand identity and get a handle on how others perceive your brand by being consistent at all touch points. In fact, personal branding has become quite a buzzword. There's no lack of information on how to promote a personal brand. If you go ask, pardon me, if you go ask Google, it will spit out it will spit out 2 dozen tactics for you right away. However, many are missing some critical pieces of the puzzle, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Many people ended up chasing down the rabbit hole of online presence, social media, PR, or influencers before they have a solid foundation to make their personal brands sustainable, client attractive, and supportive of their businesses. Now here's the million-dollar question. What exactly are you plugging into those social media profile, pretty websites, press kits, or emails to influencers, right? So they truly communicate who you are, make you stand out, and portray a representation of you that you want to identify with for a long time to come. What's the secret sauce to build an online presence that makes you proud, gives you confidence to promote your offerings, and makes you feel good about telling people what you do and how you do it? A strong personal brand holds the answers to a lot of these questions. Building a personal brand is not a walk in the park, and it's no joke. Do not hastily whip up a personal brand just because, oh, everyone is doing it, I gotta have one. It's going to stick with you for better or for worse. You have to stand by it, and you have to live it and breathe it. Plus, too many rounds of quote-unquote rebranding is counterproductive of building trust and credibility, which part of it comes out of consistency. So if you're ready to put in the work and do this right, you're in the right place. In the rest of this masterclass, we're going to dig into 5 critical layers of a powerful personal brand that builds trust, credibility, and relationships so that you can get more clients, plus 3 copywriting strategies for content that boldly and unapologetically expresses your personal brand. Now, before we dive in, I want to spend just a minute to introduce myself for those who may be new to me, and just so you know who is talking. And I am taking a break here and checking on the chat. Oh, awesome. Linda from Norway is here. And Dory tells me I'm loud and clear. Lovely. And we have Sherry and Dory from St. Louis. And lovely. Everybody is, I love hearing that we're all here and we are all good. Okay, just grab a sip of tea for my poor allergy-affected throat. Okay. So that's me, Ling Wong. Like to call myself the intuitive brainiac and copywriting alchemist. Through my unique blend of marketing coaching, content strategy, and copywriting process, I help the mavericpreneurs uncover, articulate, and transform their big why into content that connects, resonates, and converts. By way of an intuitive yet rigorous iterative process born out of my Harvard Design School training, 10 years experience in the online marketing industry, and another 6 years creating marketing materials for my businesses and for my private clients. I created Business Soul Work to usher in a new paradigm of business artistry that celebrates our creativity, individuality, and originality, loudly, fully, and unapologetically. Like my fellow multi-talented and multi-passionate mavericpreneurs, I'm done with cutting off my limbs just to fit into someone else's box. Clients appreciate my strict shooting, no BS style, because they can count on me to get to the core of the challenges without journaling till they turn blue or talking till the cows come home. And I have a thing with words. By finding the words that excite and inspire my clients, I help them connect with their purpose, experience it in tangible form, and cultivate the confidence to step up and commit to success. They tell me I say exactly what they really want to say, only better. So that's me, and now we're moving on. When I work with clients, we go through 5 layers to build their personal brand that's not only powerful, but also in alignment with who they are and what they believe in. So they feel confident when using marketing materials built on this solid foundation. Now we're going to look into these 5 layers. Number 1 is the essence. This is the foundation of your personal brand based on your values, convictions, and personality. This is the steadfast, consistent element that won't waver even when you have to adjust your business model or offering to respond to the evolving market landscape. This is the bedrock that gives you the anchor, discipline, and filter to battle bright, shiny objects so you can focus on creating meaning and doing what matters. That drives all the layers that follow. If any of the subsequent layers are not in alignment with this core, you're building on quicksand. And this is the thing that you can't really change. This is who you are. So my 2 cents is that do not try to change who you are, but look at the marketing opportunity and find a place for who you are in this world. The message is number 2. This is your golden thread that ties your identity, beliefs, life experiences, skills, talents, and expertise together into a cohesive narrative. It needs to tap into something bigger and deeper than what you do in your business or what you sell in your business. It is an expression of your identity as applied to the world around you. This is the thing you want to be known for, the thing you want people to remember that you stand for, at least in this particular chapter of your life, when you kick the bucket. A good example here I want to look at is Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body, 4-Hour Chef, and the latest book is Tools of the Titans. He's not known for just business, fitness, or cooking. His message is about adopting a stoic approach to optimizing performance to 10x results. That's why he can publish all these seemingly unrelated books without diluting his personal brand a single bit. And number 3 is the point of view. When you get clear on your message and your essence, it should not come as a surprise that some unique points of view are emerging. The subject matter of your expertise may inform the development of your points of view, but that's not the entire story. Your points of view should first and foremost be in alignment with your values, convictions, and message. So, how do you find this points of view, right? What do you do with it? I like to ask my clients to write out 3 to 5 bold statements that reflect their unique points of view. And I mean bold statement, not like there's some regurgitated stuff that's floating around in your industry. It is, what you believe in. It is what you would say if you're just in a safe space or in a room of people, in a room with people that they will cheer you on no matter what. No fear of being criticized, and no fear of not being good enough to say what it means to you. So if a bold statement is solidly anchored in your values, convictions, and beliefs, when you strip away the subject matter, your essence and message remain clear. So here's let's have an example, right? Here's one of my points of one of my points of view informed by copywriting, which is the subject matter. If you don't have conviction in your copy, how can you expect your audience to be convinced? I use that all the time because it is my value about being true to our own convictions. So if you take away the subject matter, copywriting, the point of view still reflects my conviction that if we can't stand behind the reason that drives our actions, we can't expect others to be convinced by our actions. It still reflects the main message of alignment and honest marketing, which is an important component of my personal brand. I can apply it to other subject matters, such as coaching, and it will still be consistent with my personal brand. Number 4 is the expertise. Now we're getting to what you do. Health coaching, life coaching, social media marketing, grief counseling, whatever. Many people take the shortcut and build their personal brands on this layer, the stuff that they sell, without the support of the previous 3 components. They might have breezed through those niching and branding exercises under the illusion that they're all set. They have all the answers. Yet, they often have to deal with a few long-term challenges, such as they get boxed in by narrowly defining themselves with a label. Changes in the market landscape could potentially disrupt their businesses and income. They get lost in a sea of sameness and struggle to stand out from their competitors because they base their selling propositions solely on the subject matter, which differs very little from one provider to the next. They sound like a jack of all trades as they acquire tools and skills, yet lack the framework to select and organize the knowledge to stay relevant to their niche. And they suffer from what I call entrepreneurial boredom, which can manifest as a lot of busy work with little to show for, getting stuck in the comparison trap, or feeling overwhelmed and stuck in inaction. By layering your subject matter of expertise on top of your essence and your message and positioning it through the lens of your points of view, you build a platform that is broad enough and flexible enough for growth and expansion. It gives you the framework to filter out noises, like, should I take this training? Should I get certified in XYZ? Should I start selling this candle widget? It gives you the framework also to organize your skills and add tools to your arsenal without having to rebrand every single time. And the last layer is the expression. This is how you deliver the goods. The tangible thing you create as the manifestation of the previous layers. It's the medium through which you share your message. For example, written words, audio, video, as well as the format of delivery. For example, website content, book, social media content, online courses, workshops, keynote speech, whatever. The expression of your personal brand gives voice to your values, convictions, and personality. It embodies your message and points of view. Your expression needs to address these 3 elements. Your strength. It has to tap into your strength. Well, Gary Vaynerchuk didn't blog, right? The text-based blog, just because that's what people were doing at that time. He realized that he wasn't good at writing, so he made videos. He did what he excels at. His contagious energy came through and turned him into a social media celebrity. You need to have a medium that taps into your strength and allows your energy to come through. If you drag your ass when you produce the content, it's not going to be good content. If you aren't inspired to do good work, no amount of branding can save the day. Next is your audience. The delivery format needs to match the needs of your audience, how they prefer to consume content, and how they learn best. Let's say your ideal clients are busy moms. Doing a 2-hour mega webinar with no replay just because some guru says, it ups the scarcity factor at 3 p.m. is unlikely to get you many butts in the seats. you can probably get more of them to consume your content if you offer a short 30-minute audio they can listen to while on the way to pick up the kids from school. The last but not least is your subject matter. Well, let me ask you this. Which is more effective? A 3-page instruction on how to prepare a pumpkin for carving, or a 90-second video to actually show people how to do it, right? Or maybe you're a health coach who also teaches a lot of cooking demo. I would do a video rather than writing a 5-page instruction, right? Pick a format that make the communication of your subject matter easy to grasp and understand. So these are the 5 layers. Now you understand the importance of what makes up a powerful personal brand, the critical input of any good copy, design, and marketing campaign. Now, before we move on, I want to check in to make sure that these 5 layers are making sense to you. If I'm going too fast or something doesn't seem to be connecting, maybe it's a little hard to connect the dots sometimes because I talk so fast and I'm in my own head, whatever. Don't be polite. Please type your questions or comments in the chat and we'll address it as we go. And I'll come back to check on the chat in a little bit. All right, so now I know that many people still struggle with, okay, you know, the theory is there, the idea of branding, they get it. They still struggle with pulling all these layers together, all these components together, the idea of crafting a personal brand into content that reflects the brand while converting prospects into clients. I mean, you can write a lot of pretty things, right? But if you're not communicating your personal brand or you're not converting prospects into clients, your personal brand is not doing anything good for your business. And here is some of the most common scenarios that I see that happens to my own clients. Number 1, they have taken programs and trainings on finding their quote-unquote essence and you know who they are, get clear on their vision, yada yada yada, and crafting their marketing message. Okay, here's my message, here's my elevator speech, whatever. They are holding to a bag of sort of clarity, but they have no way to express it. Or they hired a website designer or copywriter to do something with their marketing materials, yet without the right kind of input or the ability to translate the clarity that they glean from other coaching programs into solid marketing content. They ended up with plain vanilla stuff that says nothing about who they are. So that's the loss in translation I was talking about earlier when we began the class. For me, it's important that my clients not only complete our projects with added clarity, but also have the copy they love that they can pop into their website right away. It's not one or the other. The processes of finding clarity and expressing it through well-chosen words go hand in hand to enhance each other. So with that, we're moving on to talking about copywriting. After you have nailed down the 5 layers we just talked about, it's time to turn that clarity into powerful copy. After all, this clarity, these personal branding thing, it's not going to do you much good. It's not going to do your business much good if you can't communicate your message to your ideal clients. Now we're going to look at 3 strategies to help you create content that boldly and unapologetically express your personal brand. And a little note here from a word snob. I use the word strategy here because I was sort of struggling with how to put it. It's like directive is a little bit too black and white as a little bit too my way or the highway, but it's more like a it's as much of a way of writing as it is a mindset change, a way of approaching your copywriting. So maybe I would say 3 copywriting approaches. Whatever, we'll chew on the word later. And if you have any good suggestion, please do type it into the chat and let me know. Okay, so number 1 is be original. What makes you you? What makes you one of a kind? So people would want to work with you or buy your stuff instead of with your competition. How do you weave your values, conviction, personality, experiences, talents, and skills into a message and offerings that is unique to you? You do not have to be a loudmouth self-promoter to stand out. It's more important to be you and stay true to your essence and your message. You have to believe that you have something different, valuable, and relevant to offer. And your unique perspective and combination of values, convictions, experience, talents, and skills can help solve your niche's challenges in a way that only you can. Fears can drive us to look around too much, fall into comparison trap, and regurgitate copy used by others, thinking that if it works for them, it gotta work for you too. Well, first, let me point that out. That's your assumption that it actually works. It may not. And frankly, I'm tired of what's going on in social media these days. So many people put up a rosy front telling some highly edited story, and you would think their stuff must work, so you go copy their stuff and you do what they do. Yet in reality, so many people are struggling. How do I know? Because some of these people come to me for help and I get to look under the hood. Or what they're doing may work for their niche and not yours. And if you blindly copy other people's words that you aren't truly aligned with, it will disconnect you from your business and your body of work. Yeah, I said body of work. Sounds grand, sounds serious. But when you are able to articulate what you do, how you do it, and why you do it, pulling all the discrete pieces together, most people see an arc, a narrative that informs what their life work is. And this process is really that powerful. If the words you use don't line up with your essence and your message, it won't feel good coming out of your mouth. And here's what I like to say. If you don't have 130% conviction about what you say or write, how can you expect your audience to be convinced? With all the noises around us, it's often easier said than done to keep ourselves from picking up other people's words and use them in our copy without first carefully considering it. We have to resist the easy way out. We can't be precious about the first draft or even second or third. And we need to have the discipline to challenge our own preconceptions and assumptions about what we put on paper, in how we choose our words and phrase our sentences. We have to get curious and wonder how much of what we write is our original idea and how much of it comes from what we have been told how it's done. You may even want to unplug, put your FOMO, fear of missing out, aside and go on a detox to clear your mind of what other people are saying so you can let your own ideas come through loud and clear. When I work with my clients, I chew on every single word to make sure it's reflecting the message and personality. I challenge the use of jargon and make sure we're intentional in everything we write instead of regurgitating cliche terms and phrases just because everyone else is saying it. It not only makes a big difference in the final copy. I have clients who were brought to tears because they finally found their voice, see how everything they've gone through are coming to fruition. But the process also strengthens the mental muscle of discernment, builds a discipline to challenge the status quo, and helps my clients verbalize their superpowers so they can finally own it and sell it like they mean it. Moving on, number 2 is be human. People buy from people, not a faceless company. People trust people, not a website with fancy sliders. Especially for coaching and consulting services, clients want to work with those they trust, and they're willing to pay a premium for that. Your content needs to present you as a human being. I know it sounds funny, right? But unfortunately, so many people hide behind the facade of a logo or a company instead of showing their true colors to build connections with their audience. Being human is about making the connection and creating the resonance, which build trust and credibility that make conversion simply the natural thing to happen. Being human is about opening up and having the courage to be vulnerable. I like to call that responsible vulnerability. It's not a wine fest, nor is it manipulative. And there's no formula to do it. You can only be truly vulnerable when you know you're strong enough to hold your ground and prevail. When you own your vulnerability, you're also showing your confidence, and your audience wants to experience that confidence to know that they can trust you. All right, go back to what I really like to say is, if you don't trust yourself 120%, how can you expect your audience to trust you? Unfortunately, there are many people who throw around vulnerability because it's hot. Vulnerability is the window to your humanity, so please show some respect. Airing out your dirty laundry without connecting it with your bigger message from a place of service is self-gratuitous. Please don't toss around emotions just to make a sale. Now I refer to Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Emotional connections are the jabs. They build the trust, create the resonance, and solidify the relationship. When you do the jabs masterfully, you can throw a right hook like a right hook. Ask for the sale like it is, instead of disguising it like a kind of a jab, but gets kind of a right hook, not really it, which gets your copy stuck in the land of neither here nor there. Closely tied to vulnerability is storytelling. When you share your story, you're opening up to your audience. We're wired to pay attention to stories. Everybody loves a good story. Storytelling is a great way to connect with your audience and create a deep resonance. Of course, you can't just spiel out your entire life story and hope for the best. Your life experience is an integral part of what you bring to the table for your clients. Yet, it doesn't mean you can regurgitate the same long tale every single time. Dumping out your life story with no filter is too much information. Sharing snippets of relevant experience builds intrigue that makes your readers want more. Telling the same story gets old quickly, and you become boring. And newsflash, boring doesn't sell because nobody is listening. Honor every piece of your life experience by putting it in the proper spotlight. Every piece of your experience is a mini story that deserves its place. Each has a lesson to teach, and each has a message to convey. Each has a purpose to serve. Don't overload one piece of your story with too many ideas in one go. It's okay to use the same story to illustrate different points in different pieces of content. Here's a tip to make it even better. Tweak your story slightly and tell it from a different perspective to highlight a different aspect of your message and communicate a different lesson so your content becomes more relevant and less boring. Your readers don't want a chronological rehash of your life. They want glimpses into your life that show them why you are relevant to them. They want pieces they can relate to emotionally. They want to trust you. But first, they need to be able to relate to you as a human being. So that's for being human. And number 3 is be offensive. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go about offending people, but you gotta be willing to be offensive. More often than not, we're too careful, tiptoeing because we're worried what others might think about us if we sorry, I lost my notes. We're too careful. We're tiptoeing because we're worried what others might think about us. When trying to stay safe, we send all the edges down of our communications until there's nothing left except the most boring and generic stuff. Now everybody sounds like everybody else. We tend to regurgitate what other people are already saying in our industry to make sure we're not being offensive or controversial. That's human instinct, to blend in, to make sure we don't get kicked out by our caveman tribe. So that's human nature, and that's okay to a certain extent, but we need to be mindful about it because it isn't good for marketing, and it's not good for your self-expression. It's not good for being, it's not good for your originality and your creativity. You sound like everybody else, and why would people want to buy your stuff or work with you? Blending in doesn't make economic sense. The more you sound like everyone else, the more you'll be treated as a commodity and the less price elasticity you can get. So how unfun it is to compete on price and price alone. You can't define your positioning by just research either. Your positioning is uniquely you. And how can you define you just by looking at data, which essentially just reflects other people's worldview from weeks, months, or even years ago? Staying straight and narrow so you don't stick out, or blending in with the cool crowd so you don't get picked on, it could be good for high school survival. I get that. But let's get rid of the fear of being criticized now that we have our big girl, big boy panties on. The best way to overcome the fears is to get so clear about your message and convictions that you know, heart of heart, that you have to stand up for your truth. We all have fears. We're not going to deny that. We just need to find beliefs and convictions that are so clear and so strong that it creates the inevitability to help us move through the fears. When I help my clients who have struggled for years to nail their unique positioning, staying level-headed often doesn't work. We need some fire. Really good stuff comes out of their mouth when I get them super riled up. Yeah, I can be so persistent about finding the truth that they get annoyed and emotional and they start yelling, but they always thank me later. When they throw caution into the wind and just tell me what pissed them off, without worrying about putting what they say into sort of marketing kosher materials, we find the gems that define who they are and why they are different. So here are a few questions I like to use to get my clients riled up and ranting. What riles you up about your industry? Why are those who work with your competition aren't getting results? What frustrates your ideal clients most about your industry and competition? What do you do differently that create results and avoid frustrations? What would you say if you remove all the fears and conditioning about how you look or what others might think? What would you say and do to express your truth? And Linda just chimed in the chat. I have an advantage here. I'm not afraid to say what I mean. Yay, good for you, Linda. And that is so important. So there you have it, folks. The 5 critical layers of a powerful personal brand that builds trust, credibility, and relationships to get more clients, and the 3 copywriting strategy or approaches for content that boldly and unapologetically express your personal brand. So just to sum it up, the 5 critical layers are your essence, your message, your point of view, your expertise, and your expression. And the 3 copywriting strategy or approaches are be original, be human, and be offensive. I want to check in if everything makes sense, and if you have any question or comment, please do type it in the chat box. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway is and how you're going to use the information you have learned today to craft a personal brand for meaningful, impactful, and effective marketing. Please, again, please share in the chat box, or if you're watching the replay, hit reply to any of the emails and let me know. I really appreciate hearing from you, and I read and reply to all the emails personally, like I always promise. Like I mentioned in the emails, I don't have anything, I'm not launching anything, I don't have any programs to sell you, so there's no pitch fest here. I do want to give those who are curious about my co-creation copywriting process an opportunity to get the clarity they need for writing meaningful marketing copy. I can't guarantee how, and to that end, I'm offering a 15-minute session to help you uncover the critical layers to your personal brand, specifically focusing on your message and your point of view. I can't guarantee how far you would go. Everybody is different, and you are not starting at the same place as the next person. I can tell you that with the exercise, the prep work, and the phone sessions all combined together, you'll get the clarity you need to move forward in crafting meaningful marketing copy. Until Monday, October 24th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, you can score the session for $67. Once you make the payment with this payment link you see on the screen, business-soulwork.com/pb-session, this link will take you directly to a PayPal payment page, and I will be in touch within 24 hours with prep work and scheduling details. Nothing fancy here. I'll also send the link via email and post it under the replay. I'm not putting a limit on the number of sessions because I want to connect with as many of you as possible. However, there's only one me. And right now, as you can hear me, coughing and wheezing, this cocktail of seasonal allergies and exercise-induced asthma is really taking a toll, which means I have to limit the time I spend on the phone talking to 1 at most 2 sessions per day, unfortunately. That means the sooner you act, the sooner we get on the phone and get it all sorted for you. And I'll just knock it off one at a time and keep doing it until I get everybody taken care of. I can't tell you how much clarity my clients get just by going through the prep work and responding to my comments. It's truly an eye-opening experience for them, with a different perspective and a different way of looking at themselves and their businesses. I charge an hourly rate for my content strategy and copywriting services. The prep work review and phone session combo comes out to at least $200 in honest to goodness value. It's not some jacked up value for random info products. So I hope you take advantage of this so you can set the right tone for your content and build a solid foundation for a personal brand to give you meaningful input for impactful and effective marketing. Thanks for being here with me and tolerating with my voice that is almost gone, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye now.